Evening everybody, it is an unseasonably warm Tuesday 30th of August. Ridiculously hot today, really still and muggy and very un-England-like. So let's start a run of blended whiskey, blended Scotch. I thought it was about 30, I thought I had more blends to go through, but it's only 22. So the next 22 days will be 22 blended whiskies. There are a lot more out there. This is basically what I could get, what I could lay my hands on, got donated. Like I was, just nicking it from everybody. This is what I got donated. 22 blends, but there are a lot, a drop in the ocean for blended Scotch whisky. So the first one that we're going to go is, if you haven't already, if you go to the Tumblr page, which is dramaday.tumblr.com/list of whiskies, that is now the full schedule all the way down to 366, and you'll see that the blended whiskies that I'll be doing over the next 22 days, I've just put them into alphabetical order. That's it. There's no logic to them, no rhyme or reason. It's literally sort it on a spreadsheet into alphabetical order. That's the way we're going to do them, which is why the first one is 100 pipers. Now, my currently youngest child, who in a month's time, 6 weeks time potentially, maybe 8 weeks time, depending on if he decides he's going to hang around for a little bit longer, won't be my youngest child, but she's currently my youngest child, is called Piper. And one piper is bad enough, to be honest, and hard enough. So 100 of the little buggers must be an absolute nightmare. So this was a donation from Mr. X, and you can see it's a fairly old bottle, and it's a bit worrying in that you can see the fill level on this. It's sealed, it's not been opened, but you can see it's pretty low. So we're not really getting this in the best possible condition, but I'm going with it because it was donated by Mr. X. I've not been able to find 100 pipers anywhere else, mainly because it's not really around in the UK anymore, which I'll get to. So I'm just going to take the risk, and hopefully it'll be okay. So 100 pipers was created by Seagram'S, and it does actually say on the label, so if you can see it on the camera, possibly, Seagram'S 100 pipers. It was created by Seagram'S in 1949. And 100 Pipers is actually the name of a ballad, The 100 Pipers, which was a traditional ballad to celebrate the Jacobite rising in 1745 by Bonnie Prince Charlie. And traditionally in battles of that time, the armies were led by pipers, and apparently Bonnie Prince Charlie's, that's my telephone, which is really helpful that when it's 2 seconds. What was I saying? Oh yes, so it was traditionally pipers would lead the armies into battle, and Bonnie Prince Charlie's army was that large that they had 100 pipers that led them into battle. There we go, that's the history behind it. So it's now owned by, the brand is now owned by Pernod Ricard, because when Seagram'S dissolved in the turn of the century, millennium, Pernod Ricard and Diageo took various parts of Seagram'S, and Pernod Ricard got this as well as a couple of the distilleries, one called Altavane, which is a key component of this, which was built by Seagram'S as a malt whisky distillery to satisfy the demand for the product of their blends. And is now also owned by Pernod Ricard. Now, it's not really, the packaging's not really changed over the years, so it looks pretty old. This, I mean, I've no idea when this bottle was. I'm going to guess maybe late 70s, 80s potentially, probably 80s. I'm going to guess. But this is what the bottle looks like now, and it's not changed that much. It's not like it's become more modern. It's slightly more streamlined, but it's still keeping that labelling at heart. Now, the reason it's quite hard to find in the UK, and it's almost like it's been discontinued in the UK itself, is that this is massive in Asia. It's apparently the number one. See, Wikipedia's got it as standard, but I'm guessing blended whiskey. It's the number one selling blended whiskey in Thailand in particular, and in Asia, it's the second biggest in Asia as a whole. So it's a massive market over there. They don't need to sell it in the UK because it's going to sell by the bomb over there. You can find it in America as well, and it's $10 most of the places that I found it for online, which, to be honest, for a blended Scotch is a good price. However, did read somewhere that this isn't not just bottled in Scotland. There is also a bottling plant in India to satisfy the Asian demand, and it's entirely possible that if they're selling it for $10 in America, there's either a bottling plant over there or they're getting it very, very cheap somehow, maybe not from Scotland, to reduce the transport costs, because that is cheap for a Scotch whisky, very cheap. So it does talk about smoky notes in the tasting notes that seem to be banded around the place. In terms of what the makeup is in terms of grain to malt and what malts are in there, Altavane seems to be the major one, anywhere up to 30 apparently, but what they are I've absolutely no idea. So for a number of reasons, the fill level of the bottle, the cheapness of the whiskey, the fact that it's very, very big in Asia, not with any offence at all to Asia, I'm not expecting much out of this, I'll be honest, because a lot of the big popular brands in the Asian market are very, very smooth and very, very easy drinking. So it might not be I'm not saying this is going to be a crap whiskey. I just don't think preconceptions that is going to be much to it, but let's find out. Now, there is a little bit of woodiness to this, and I'm wondering whether that's actually... See, it does have one of those cardboard inserts in there, and it's possible that that's just affecting the nose of it a little bit. It smells a little bit dry and a little bit woody, but it's not disastrous. It's not awful. There is a little bit of smokiness on there as well. A slight, very, very slight soft pepperiness, almost like white pepper. And gentle bonfire smokiness. Nothing too over the top. I think this has been affected, but we'll see. Yeah. It's really woody. It's really woody and cardboardy, and I think unfortunately it's just the fact that the miniature is that old and too much is evaporated out of it. It's 43% as well, which is a slightly higher alcohol percentage than for a bog standard blend. You know, normally you'll see most mainstream blends released at 40, but it being released at 43% is unusual, shall we say. It's actually growing on me a little bit. There is a smokiness to it. It's vastly unbalanced, but I'm trying to get past the tightness and the woodiness that's there. I'm trying quite hard, trying to kind of get around the initial burst of chewing on the end of a pencil. And there is quite a decent toffiness to it, and there is a smokiness to it actually. And it would be interesting actually to see what it's like, because I think this is probably an okay whiskey. At the moment, it's far too harsh, but I strongly believe that is because of the bottle. That's not the nature of the whiskey ordinarily, because I don't think that this is going to be as harsh and it's not bitter, but it's almost a sour woodiness, which is a shame, because right in the background there is some quite rich fudgy toffiness, and there is a little bit of white pepper smokiness to it as well. It's just such a shame that woodiness, and it's not even oak, it is every type of wood that you're chewing on, and it sucks all the moisture out of your mouth, is just overpowering it. And I think that is literally because of the age of the miniature. Too much is evaporated out of it, and it's not destroyed it. There is part of it that's drinkable. You've really got to get past that initial woodiness that's there, which is a real shame. Right, I'm going to have quite a large glass of water to get rid of the flavour to that until I go on to the next one, which is looking much, much better in terms of fill level. I think it's another older miniature of it, but yes, 100 pipers Don't let this review put you off trying to find it. If you come across it, it might be worth giving it a go, because it's very difficult for me to say it is worth getting hold of. And there was an indication there that there are some elements of it that aren't too bad. Right, that's me done. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.